Hi everyone, my name is Mindy and I'd like to welcome you to my new and improved channel, Adventures for the Curious, where we will be visiting and learning about strange and mysterious places of forgotten history all over the world. For my first episode, we're heading to North Carolina, the site of a mysterious boulder that has puzzled archaeologists, scientists, and the general population for centuries, Judaculla Rock. In this episode, I will show highlights of my visit to the area and will then present the history of the boulder as we know it. I'll also tell you the story of the legendary giant the rock is named for, as well as some theories about the story the rock may be telling. So, are you ready? I am. Let's go. Judaculla Rock is a curvilinear-shaped outcrop of soapstone. It's located in the mountains of western North Carolina near Cullowhee. We drove for several miles on beautiful backcountry roads to get to this site, and it wasn't hard to see why the ancient Cherokee revered this area. We are at Judaculla Rock, finally. We have had a busy day. Horseback riding, creek walking, shopping, and now Judaculla Rock. This little bit of forgotten history is located in Cullowhee, North Carolina. It's a petroglyph. It's a Cherokee ancient sacred site. So the legend of Judaculla goes, Judaculla was a giant who ruled over this land. And the Cherokee feared and respected him. He had 7 fingers on each hand. And he was not to be disobeyed. This is a petroglyph site, and like this says, petro means rock, glyph means symbol, type of rock art. In doubt that somewhere along there are other rocks, maybe smaller ones, that possibly may be carved as well. So here we go. This rock may have served as a boundary marker for Cherokee hunting grounds, which were closely guarded by the legendary giant and master of animals, Judaculla. There have been a lot of theories about this rock. That the pecking on the top of the rock with the circles. Some people have said that it resembles Ogam, which is the ancient Irish alphabet, which would mean that the ancient Irish made it to North America before Columbus. I don't think that's Ogam. To me, it just looks like, it does look like a map. I'd like to pause for a second in our trip here and talk a little more about the Ogam Theory and why it just isn't feasible to me. Ogam is an alphabet that appears on monumental inscriptions dating from the 4th to the 6th century AD and was used mainly to write primitive and Old Irish. Although its origins are uncertain, theories propose it might be named after the Irish god Ogma or after an Irish phrase that referred to the seam made by the point of a sharp weapon. One of the reasons I don't believe the carvings on the Judaculla Rock are Ogam is the fact that Ogam was hard to mistake. The characters were usually inscribed around the edges of rocks running from bottom to top and left to right. And another reason is that the letters were usually linked together by a solid line. I don't really see any of those characteristics here on Judaculla Rock. Okay, so now let's head back to the rock. But this line right here, they said, the legend goes is that's the boundary marker of where Judaculla, you could not cross unless Judaculla gave you permission to cross it. Okay, I'd like to take a few moments here to go more into depth about the legend of Judaculla. There are many varying tales of Judaculla, but the tale regarding his handprint on Judaculla Rock has been retold like this. Judaculla was considered to be the master of all game animals to the Cherokee. He was both respected and feared, and there were several rituals dedicated to honoring the slant-eyed giant. It was believed he was the spirit who sustained the Cherokee people, and when he looked favorably on the tribe, their hunts were successful. One day, a hunting party disrespected Judaculla on his land, and Judaculla chased them down the mountain. With a ferocious roar and a mighty leap, Judaculla landed at the rock, using his 7-fingered hand to steady himself on it. His handprint can still be seen to this day. Okay, let's get back to my trip to Judaculla Rock and see what else we can learn. So, here we see, I guess that's a representation. I mean, that looks like a dragonfly symbol almost. That looks like a salamander. That may be the Hellbender's salamander that's in this area. This looks like almost like a cocopelli. That looks like Judaculla right there. Giant man with a whole bunch of fingers. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, here's supposedly Judaculla's hand. 7 fingers. And this almost looks like a ceremonial area. So that's his hand mark. That's where he left his hand mark.
So is that a soapstone?
Yeah, it's soapstone.
Is that softer?
Yeah, it's a good thing to carve in.
Yeah.
The surface covered with petroglyphs measures around 240 square feet or 22 square meters. These areas you see here show where the ancient Cherokee would take the soapstone to carve their bowls from. 3 depressions show stem extraction to make pipes, and 3 more are hollow scallops. The carvings themselves are extremely curious, both for the number of them and the variety of symbols. There are about 1,458 cut marks, 47 curvilinear units, 10 bowl-shaped depressions, 10 stick-like figures, 9 rills, 3 concentric rings designs, 3 curvilinear motifs, 3 deer tracks, 2 claw-like imprints, 1 arc, 1 cross in the circle, and 1 winged shape. Petroglyphs that occur within the 3 hollow scallops suggest that their production took place after soapstone bowl quarrying had ceased at the site. While the soapstone was extracted during the late Archaic period between 2000 and 1000 BCE, the petroglyphs were thought to be pecked between the Middle Woodland and Mississippian culture periods from about 200 CE to 1400 CE. From a rock art perspective, the boulder is significant as it contains more petroglyphs than any other known boulder east of the Mississippi River. Judaculla Rock contains approximately 1,548 motifs, which is 3.7 times the total of 421 motifs of the substantial Track Rock Gap petroglyph boulder complex in far northern Georgia. Okay, let's get back to the video. 3,000 years ago. Archaeologists estimate that most of the glyphs are between 300 and 1,500 years old. And these are some of the bowls that they've made. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's neat. A square and a triangle.
Yeah.
That looks Masonic. Well, I'm not sure about the Masonic part, but it was sort of cool. Although many theories have been put forth regarding the meaning of the mysterious boulder, such as a star map, petroglyphs pecked by a mixture of ancient Cherokee and migrating Mayans, and the whole Ogam Theory, the truth is most likely more practical. The rock is located along an old Cherokee hunting trail, as well as a trail that linked various Cherokee landmarks. So, Judaculla Rock appears to be a physical representation of the entire landscape the Cherokees inhabited, although no one is 100% sure of the meaning, even to this day. Whatever the carvings on the boulder represent, Judaculla Rock remains a sacred place for the Cherokee, and likely will keep its secrets for a long time to come. Thank you for joining me on this amazing adventure of forgotten history. Our time in North Carolina was almost magical as we toured the area and walked the creeks. There is an aura that flows through the creeks and the forests that hint of ancient mysteries, and you can't help but wonder what it would have been like to wander these beautiful Smoky Mountains and forests in the time where Judaculla was not just a legend, but a real spirit to be honored and respected. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe, and I will continue to bring you more forgotten history, firsthand from the sites I visit around the world. And that's it for today. As always, be kind to everyone and stay curious.